Hey guys, wanted to kind of do a little bit of a short video, kind of my 3 week update, which is good, and also kind of answer some questions that I've been getting from people regarding bariatric surgery and if it's right for them, what the process is like, how long the process took, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but I'll go ahead and I'll start with my 3 week update. Um, so I just saw my doctor 4 days ago. Um, since then, I'm down 50 whole pounds from my surgery date, which is only 3 weeks, obviously 3 week follow up, whatever. Um, yeah, 50 pounds. That's, I can't tell you how good that feels. It's, it's significant. I feel it. I feel it. I see it in my face. I see it. Obviously, I'm not going to take my shirt off and show y'all, but trust me, I see it. My wife sees it. Other people see it. Trust me. I came into work tonight, and my coworker was like, "Holy shit! Look at your face!" Like, trust me. Give it another 3 to 6 months, and you guys are going to be saying the same thing. Um, but not saying that this has been easy. This has been incredibly difficult. Bariatric surgery is definitely not for everybody. So you really have to sit down and think to yourself, is this for me? You have to outweigh the good with the bad, and you have to make that decision yourself. You don't let anybody else tell you, like, oh, hey, do this. This is good for you. Or, hey, don't do this. No, you make that decision yourself because this is a life altering this lifestyle change. Like nothing is the same after this. The way you eat, the way you drink, the way you just nothing is the same after this. With that being said, I will say that this is the greatest thing I've ever done for myself. And to think that I got to that point is depressing. I mean, like I was a pro wrestler. I played baseball. I played football. Like I was in the military. I served in the army. And to see where I was then and now, or my surgery, I should say, is such a night and day difference. My goal is to get back to that. My goal is to be the same size and the same build that I was back then, so I can continue to do all of those things that I missed and that I enjoyed. Those, you know, professional wrestling and baseball, like those are my life's passions. Obviously my family, my children, that's all incorporated with it. But those are all things that I thoroughly enjoy doing, as well as music. I'd like to lose the weight and start playing music again because I don't want to make a mockery of myself. But we'll see. Take a little bit at a time. But I will say that, excuse me, I started this process last October, and it is now currently August, going into September. So it took a while, but everybody's insurance is different. I had to go through group therapy and sit through 6 sessions. Then I had to do individual therapy. Like there was a lot that I had to do along the way. I had to meet with a dietitian for 6 months straight. I had to continuously show that I was losing weight on my own before surgery, because it's not just you say, hey, I want the surgery, sign on a piece of paper, and you go right in and get surgery. That's not how it works. Not at all. Like you have to prove that A, you can handle it, B, you really want this, and C, that you're going to use this as a tool to better yourself and your life and to get healthy, because this is not just a miracle cure. You still have to put the work in. It's I know a lot of people think they're like, oh, hey, I got this surgery, I can go back and do whatever I want. No, you cannot. Your stomach will go from its current size to the size of an egg. Literally, go in your fridge, take out an egg. That's the size of your new stomach. You can only hold 4 ounces in that new stomach. They literally say only about 3 tablespoons of food, and you're good. And the way you feel full now is not the same way you'll feel after surgery. It is a totally different feeling, and I can't describe it. It's just one of those things. It's like you have to feel it for yourself. And then you also have to get used to, like me, before surgery, I used to drink a lot of fluids and liquids and stuff while I was eating. You can't do that anymore. You have to, 20 minutes before you eat something, you can't drink. And for 30 minutes after you eat, you can't drink anything. So you have a 50-minute span there, might as well just call it an hour, where you can't drink anything while you're trying to eat. And you have to chew way more than usual. You know, my surgeons, my dietitians have all told me at least 20 times, and you have to eat incredibly slow. If you do not, you will pay the price. Um, if your stomach's full, there's only one way for it to come back, and I've already dealt with that a few times, and it is not fun. It is quite painful. Um, there's also dumping syndrome, which is it's what it sounds like. I'm not going to get into details, but um, but with all that said, so I used to sleep with a CPAP or BiPAP machine every night I had to, or else I just felt like crap and I just couldn't function. Now I found myself for a couple of nights I didn't sleep with it, and I was totally fine. Like even Nicole had noticed, like, hey, like you're not snoring, like I can barely hear you, and you're sleeping, and I'm waking up refreshed, like as if I had the mask on, but I didn't. So you know, and if you have diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, if you have high cholesterol, all of these things will be alleviated from the surgery. Now, there's different types of surgeries. You can get the sleeve. What I did, I had the roux-en-y gastric bypass. Um, you know, you can actually Google it. There's a lot of very good visuals out there that'll actually show you what they do because they reroute certain things. And then there's also a duodenal switch, which is like for the most extreme cases. Um, I definitely didn't qualify for the duodenal switch, and I really didn't want to get that intense because I just felt like I just didn't need it. But then I also have a history of acid reflux or GERD, and the sleeve would have just made that so much worse. So, I mean, really, the only option that made sense for me was the gastric bypass. But I did my research and I studied up and I read and I asked questions. I can't even begin to tell you how many people I asked. But so the day of your surgery, you can't eat or drink anything the night before. I got wheeled into surgery at 10:30 a.m. But I had to report to the hospital for 8 because you know they have to get you prepped and all that stuff. So I couldn't eat or drink the night before after I think yeah it was after midnight. But I think I played it safe and did like nothing after 9 p.m. You know, and they'll take your weight and you know they'll go through everything. The anesthesiologist will come in and explain to you what's going on and this and that, and getting wheeled into that operating room was terrifying. Yeah, because you know it's a surgery. You know, with any surgery, there's always going to be risk. It doesn't matter how small or how major or how minor or whatever. A surgery is surgery. You're going to be under anesthesia. You're going to have a breathing tube. You're going to be intubated. They're going to be breathing for you. There's 100 things that can go wrong. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm just saying that every surgery comes with its risk. But my brain just naturally, just how I am, I just automatically just went to like the worst possible scenario. And I'm so happy that everything turned out the way that it did. I had an amazing surgeon. I have an amazing team of doctors. I have an amazing support system. And that is by far the biggest thing throughout this whole process. If you don't have a strong support system, maybe you should put off making this decision until you can get a support system in place. You know, you have to have people that are, you know, they're rooting for you and trying to, you know, push you along, keep you on the straight and narrow, because there are times where you'll be tempted to fall back into old behaviors, and I've caught myself doing that myself. But I have people around me and people who I know I can reach out to, you know, people such as my wife or you know, everybody knows Christina Payne. I talk to her quite a bit. Um, you know, there's a few other people out there who I know I can message at any time, day or night, and they may not get back to me right away because everybody else has their own lives too. But they'll always get back to me within a reasonable time frame, and you know, and help me through whatever situations or questions I have or whatever. And there's also plenty of support groups on Facebook, but I will say be very choosy on which ones you find on Facebook because a lot of them are extremely toxic and they're super negative. You know, there's a lot of bickering, a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing, and whatever. It's just it could be a little much sometimes, but but you also have to keep in mind that going through this, you're not doing it for anybody else. You're doing it for you. Um, Now, for me, like my reasons is I want to be here for my children. I want to grow old. I want to be able to see my children graduate high school, graduate college, get married, have children. You know, and honestly, my highest weight I was 449 pounds. Now, how many 80-year-old men do you see walking around that are almost 450 pounds? You know, it's my children mean everything to me, and I mean, yes, I just said that you're doing this for you, and that's exactly it. Is like I'm doing it for me because I want to be around, you know. And I didn't go through with, you know, the idea of like, oh, well, these people need me or these people like, no, no, it's your body, it's your health, it's your life, it's your decision. But there's everybody who I've talked to who have also had the surgeries I have. And keep in mind, a lot of people who I've talked to and reached out have either had the same procedures I had, the roux-en-y gastric bypass, or they've had the sleeve. And everybody has always, like, I've never heard anybody say that they wouldn't do it again. Everybody who I've asked said it was the best thing that they've ever done. And if they had to ever, if they had to go back and change their minds and not do it, they definitely would still do it. You know, and you know, it's a lifestyle change. You know, it's like I said, nothing will be the same. But after surgery, because they will have to pump your stomach, your belly, full of gas so they can get under your liver to get to, you know, what they need to get to. I'm not trying to get ultra specific and you know, all that stuff, but they do need to get under your liver, so they have to put gas in there so they can, you know, maneuver around and get under and over and whatever. And so with that being said, you'll have some gas pain. You know, I've some people have said 2 or 3 days, some people have said a week, some people have said 2 weeks. I personally had gas pain for, I'd say, about a week. But the more you walk, the less gas pain you'll have. Now, I was super active in the hospital. Like, I got to the point to where the nurses were telling me, like, hey, stop walking so much, sit down, relax. And that's you really have to learn your limitations. You can't overdo it. You have to allow yourself to rest and relax, you know. And that's a big thing for me because I've always been a very get up and go. Like, I've never really been like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and just, no, I couldn't do that. At one point, they started calling me the floor supervisor because I was walking around more, seeing more of what was going on than some of the nurses. So it's but then if you have gout, I will say make sure you have things in place. Talk to your doctor beforehand, because I had a massive gout attack afterwards. It actually started in my right foot, went to my left foot, and back to my right foot. Like, literally, it went from one foot to the other and back. So my doctor called in some, I forgot the name of the prescription, but it's a liquid. It almost looks like penicillin or amoxicillin, and you're supposed to take it twice a day while you're taking colchicine, which is the medication that you take for gout. It's an anti-inflammatory, and you're not supposed to be taking anti-inflammatories or NSAIDs, you know, so like no ibuprofen, no Aleve, none of that. If you take anything, just take Tylenol. And honestly, like, just general pain afterwards, I took Tylenol the whole time, and I really had no problems. So, I mean, as long as you're up, you're active, you're moving, you're following the diet, you'll be okay. But but everybody's also a little bit different. So don't take my experience as gospel for what you'll experience yourself. Yeah, just keep that in mind. Um, but I mean, definitely move, 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 move. Even when I had gout, I was still moving in my recliner at home. Whether I was just doing like arm movements or you know, trying to move my good foot while the bad one was out. Just doing some ankle rotations and stuff. Like anything helps. Um, I mean, it's like I said, it's not easy, but it's worth it, and nothing good is ever easy. You want something bad enough, you fight for it, and you'll go through with it. You deal with it because the reward on the other end is worth it. And I'm learning that now. It's only been 3 weeks, but I'm so excited to see what happens for the next 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 months. And I'm gonna be okay, and I'm gonna be here for a long time, and I'm gonna grow to be an old man. I mean, I'm old now. I mean, I look like Gimli, but no, I'm gonna be here for a long time. I'm gonna grow old. I'm gonna see my kids grow up and be old and have their own families and get into their own trouble, make their own mistakes, and learn from their mistakes, and just as we all have. It's and you really got to find your reason why, and just keep reminding yourself, this is why I'm doing it, this is why I'm doing it, this is why I'm doing it. But make sure it's a reason that is important to you and you specifically. Don't just make up some random whatever. It's just use your head. Make an informed decision, do your research, talk to your doctors. No dumb questions ever a dumb question. And there's no such thing as too many questions. So I, I still call my doctors and my surgical team, and I still bombard them with some questions that I just think it just off the wall, just like random questions. But there's no such thing as a dumb question. Ask, 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 ask. But that being said, for everybody that's reached out to me, for everybody who's messaged me, for everybody who has supported me along the way, for everybody who has genuinely taken an interest in my journey, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't think of any other words to, other than thank you. And I'm so grateful that I have such an amazing support system, and that I have so many friends out there in the community who genuinely care about me, my journey, and my family. And I can't put into words how appreciative I am. And there's a few people, specifically Christina Payne has been there throughout my whole process. Big Easy's House of Pops, Mr. Crispers. I'm sure you guys have heard of them. If not, go follow all 3 of them, subscribe to them. Of course, Big Easy and Mr. Crisper sending me a lavender peg and a balloon to my hospital room. It was quite entertaining. I was on a live with Big Easy's House of Pops, one of his random lives. I believe it was one of the last lives he did before he moved out of his house in Kentucky. Go back and watch that. There was the whole story of how that all came to fruition. It's hilarious. And then there's other, Brandy, Geek Meets Eats. She's been super supportive, and she's been, like a sister to me, as Christina has, and has other people in the community. And I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on, but I kind of want to keep this shorter than a millennium. But I mean, seriously, thank you, everybody. And I'm going to try to remind myself to keep posting updates of my progress, and just kind of document my recovery on a weekly basis. So, today's Friday morning. I'm gonna try to record and upload every Friday. So, um, and then I also got approved to go back to the gym, but I still can't do any kind of abdominal exercises. They want to wait at least 6 weeks before I do anything with that, just because everything is still healing down there. But I did had gotten a new tripod for my GoPro, so I'll try to be recording some gym footage, some workout stuff like that. And then obviously as I go out and I do more things, hiking, getting out in the nature, hitting the woods and stuff like that, I'll make sure I try to record as much as possible. I know my content has been very few and far between, and I apologize for that. A big reason of that was because of the surgery. I was just trying to prioritize and put first things first. But yeah, so every Friday I'm gonna try to upload and kind of keep everybody informed, kind of take you guys along for the journey, and hopefully I'm not that boring. Hopefully I'm a little entertaining, just a little. Yep, and of course I'm still losing some hair, but it's all right. It's all good. I'm an old man anyways. So with that being said, I don't know why my phone was just being, yeah. But yeah, so and as if you can tell, I'm already back to work. I came back to work after a week and a half. Not like my job is very physically demanding, but thank you. I'm gonna sign off of here. I'm gonna go back and start doing something productive at work, considering I am at work. But yes, if anybody else, if you have any other questions, concerns, anything at all regarding anything, it's like I said, no such thing as a dumb question, no such thing as too many questions. I will do my very best to answer them. And if I don't have that information, I will get that information and I will get it to you. But again, thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. And take it easy. Till next time.